One of the biggest controversies of the 2012 election cycle.
Yes, everybody in Cleveland, low minority, got ObamaFraudPhone. Keep Obama in president, you know. He gave us a phone.
He gave you a phone.
Do more.
This morning, we're going to learn a whole lot more about the Obama phone story, more than anyone knew before. The government whistleblower will join us next on that story.
Everybody in Cleveland, low minority, got ObamaFraudPhone. Keep Obama in president, you know. He gave us a phone.
He gave you a phone.
Do more.
Well, remember the Obama phone frenzy? Well, now the Obama administration is planning on doing even more. The Democrat-controlled FCC voting to expand the so-called Obama phone program to include free broadband internet as well. This, as we are finding out that at least one company, Total Call, has allegedly defrauded the American people out of millions of tax dollars. Now FCC Commissioner Ajit Pai is speaking out, saying that he and other commissioners were told not to mention the case until April 1st. That happened to be one day after the vote to expand the program. FCC Commissioner Ajit Pai joins us now. Do you think those dates are just a coincidence, or do you think there's more to it?
Well, I'm not sure, but I can say it's one of the most remarkable coincidences I've ever come across in Washington.
What were you specifically told?
So we were told about this investigation in February, and we were also told that we couldn't say anything about it publicly, and that even if every commissioner voted, nonetheless the FCC would not release any word about it until April 1st. And we said, well, why is that? We never got a satisfactory explanation. Moreover, we were told that the FCC's administrator learned about this fraud in October of 2014, and that under the law, if we had pursued action by October of 2015, we could have gotten a lot more for the American taxpayer, imposed a much greater fine. We asked, well, why didn't we take action sooner? Never got a satisfactory answer.
Well, what would have or could have happened to you if you had defied their request? Could you have lost your job?
I'm not sure what the sanction would have been. This is sort of untrodden territory, and unfortunately I have I stick by the rules. I play by the rules, and if I'm told I'm not allowed to release something, I decided not to test it. But it's one of those cases where after the fact I felt compelled to say something about it, because if this had become public before that March 31st vote, it would have been a very different public debate, I would like to think.
Yeah, what would have happened?
I'm not sure, but at the very least, the majority that forced through this expansion of this Lifeline program without any budget, without any fiscal responsibility, would have had to answer, well, why are you doing this at the same time you're proposing to fine this company $51 million? And that company is just the tip of the iceberg.
And what do you think the motivation of doing the Obamacare, or excuse me, the Obama phone, Obama internet, what do you think the motivation behind the administration is?
To be honest, I'm not quite sure. It's just that distributing these kinds of subsidies without any sense of fiscal responsibility is seen as a good thing. And the point I've consistently made is, if it's a good policy, let's be fiscally responsible about it. Let's not just open the spigots and not have any accountability whatsoever.
Yeah, you just want to protect the taxpayer. It's our money, and if it's being opened up to potential fraudulent activity, that's not good. And what we saw there with that woman, she said, he gave us a phone, he's going to give us more, and we're seeing that happen with the internet. Is this a case, some would say it's a case of almost trying to buy support. Do you agree?
It certainly is very popular among certain constituencies, and the critical thing to remember here is this money isn't free. Everyone with a phone bill, including hardworking low-income Americans, have to pay the tax to fund this program. And that's why it's so critical for us to make sure that every dollar that's going to be spent on this program is spent on people who really need the help, not on fraudulent wireless carriers and people who would have who don't need these subsidies.
Ajit Pai, thank you so much for your time. FCC Commissioner, thanks for speaking out.
And the critical thing to remember here is this money isn't free. Everyone with a phone bill, including hardworking low-income Americans, have to pay the tax to fund this program. Everyone with a phone bill, including hardworking low-income Americans, have to pay the tax